So thank you very much for the invitation. I'm Professor Romain Rouzier. I'm working in Institut Curie. And in fact, this lecture could have been entitled The Limits of Breast-Conserving Surgery After Neoadjuvant Chemotherapy. We all know that from an historical point of view, neoadjuvant chemotherapy have been proposed essentially for not operable, inoperable breast cancer and inflammatory breast cancer. It was the case in the 70s, and Frederick has shown the paradigm shift in concept from Alstedt to Fischer, for example, and it was thought at this time that basically we could propose neoadjuvant chemotherapy to eradicate micrometastatic disease by an early treatment, considering that breast cancer is in fact a systemic disease and not a local disease. It was a big difference between Fischer and Alstedt. What we know from randomized trial, and I will show it in the next slide, that basically, at least, neoadjuvant chemotherapy allow more frequent conservative surgery, but there are some limits. We also know that we can test the chemosensitivity of the tumor in vivo, but we don't take advantage of this component of the neoadjuvant chemotherapy, in fact. So this is the largest meta-analysis of neoadjuvant versus adjuvant chemotherapy in breast cancer. So there have been some randomized trials. Some of them were with breast-conserving surgery, or some without any surgery for patients with response, with complete response, only radiation therapy. But the thing is, from this trial, what we learned is that basically there is no difference in terms of survival, whatever we give the chemo before or after surgery, demonstrating that the concept of early treatment of systemic disease is in fact not real. We know from the largest trial, the B18, that basically there might be a difference, even if there is no difference in terms of survival between neoadjuvant versus adjuvant chemotherapy, according to some characteristics. And for example, in the B18, it was demonstrated that patients with less than 50-year-old at entry in the trials had a better survival when they were treated with neoadjuvant chemotherapy compared to patients older than 50s. However, this is not the age that is important. It is the biology of the tumor, for sure. But in these trials, there was not much biology of the tumors at this time. For the topics of today, what is important is that when in this meta-analysis, it was shown that there was more local recurrence in the patient treated with neoadjuvant chemotherapy compared to adjuvant chemotherapy. So it was significant for sure. There is a bias. The bias is probably this trial. It's a French trial where patients without residual disease after neoadjuvant chemotherapy had only a radiation therapy and no surgery at all. And it is probably inappropriate, at least it was at this time. The main problem with the surgery after neoadjuvant chemotherapy is clearly the quality of the surgery. How to make sure that we have removed the whole remaining tumor if it exists. We can take photos, tattoos were done. In Gustave Roussy, some coal was injected before chemotherapy. Now what we do is that we insert some clips at the early onset of chemotherapy, and we do an imaging monitoring. And it helps us to distinguish these tumors that will go from only a decreasing in size from those who will give several little foci of tumors, which is more a problem in terms of conservative surgery. Now, the main problem is the local recurrence after neoadjuvant chemotherapy. This is a large series that I published 15 years ago, but it's really important because this paper was an alarm, in fact. At this time, we observed in the patient treated with neoadjuvant chemotherapy a rate of local recurrence at 16% at 5 years and 21% at 10 years, which is really, really important. We all agree that we can accept a local recurrence rate of 0.7 of 1% per year, but certainly not 2% per year. However, we could argue maybe this is not a problem. This is not a problem because we can do salvage mastectomy, okay? And for Fischer, for example, local relapse has no clinical impact. It was not important. It was a kind of surrogate marker of aggressive tumor. Okay, but it is false. It is false because we know with more randomized trial, including radiation therapy, for example, that basically 4 local relapse is equal to 1 death. So And in this series that I presented, for example, the patient with local relapse had a 60% rate of metastasis at 5 years after local relapse, which is very important. And this is quite logical, because these tumors that will relapse are more aggressive. They are not curable by chemotherapy, otherwise it would have been done initially. Radiation therapy is in failure because all these patients had radiation therapy. So basically, this is very resistant tumors. And it shows the importance of local control. Now, it's also interesting for practice in everyday to look at what are the risk factors for local relapse. In fact, what are the limits for breast-conserving surgery? We all know that age is an important marker. It's an important factor associated with local relapse, and it was shown in this study. Also, the clinical size of residual disease after clinical surgery. Like here, the barrier, the threshold was at 2 centimeters. We can discuss this threshold. And there was also the margin status, meaning that if you have positive margins, you cannot tolerate this fact. You have to go back to the operative room. And I cannot show all the studies, but what is shown in the other studies is that basically the nodal status is also important. Patients with residual disease or even nodal disease at the onset of chemotherapy had a higher risk of local relapse. And of course, multifocality, and we want to treat multifocality with oncoplastic surgery, for example. It might be a good idea for sure, and it is an advocate for, in fact, oncoplastic surgery. But we know that multifocality is also a risk factor for local relapse in the recent studies. In the multivariate analysis, almost all of these factors remain significant, and clearly it challenged the breast conservation in patients without complete response. It also shows, because of the age, that we have to integrate the genetic status in the decision of mastectomy versus breast-conserving surgery. But we would be very happy to propose to these patients immediate breast reconstruction. There is a problem of post-mastectomy radiation. And we also know from these studies that it is forbidden to have positive margins. Now, it's easier today. It's easier today because, first, we have more clinical response. We have more pathology complete response because we are giving more chemotherapy, and this is the PCR, the pathology complete response rate in patients treated with only anthracycline-based chemotherapy and in patients treated with anthracycline plus taxane in the neoadjuvant setting. We almost double the rate of PCR. And for patients with HER2 disease, it's the same. If you introduce trastuzumab in the neoadjuvant setting, you will almost double the probability of pathologic complete response. We are also helped by a better imaging, by MRI, for example, and we also have, and it is clear, a better margin assessment, a standardization of the pathological procedure to assess margin assessment. Okay, now, we have to keep in mind that with this higher rate of PCR, we will go for less and less surgery. And the future is probably NeoVAB. NeoVAB is a prospective study that we will conduct in France, conducted by Charles Coutan in Dijon, where basically the aim is to evaluate the accuracy of percutaneous biopsy to assess the pathology complete response rate in patients with clinical and radiological complete response after neoadjuvant chemotherapy. It will be proposed to patients with HER2 positive or triple negative breast cancer because we know that we can achieve some PCR rate of almost 50%. Okay, only for patients with T2 and T3 disease at the onset. Okay, they should have received at least 6 courses of neoadjuvant chemotherapy and to be eligible for breast conservation after neoadjuvant chemotherapy. For example, they should not have received radiation therapy for Hodgkin disease, for example. Okay? And we want to include only patients with non-negative disease at the initiation of treatment. This patient will have percutaneous biopsy by vacuum-assisted biopsy. Okay? It will be done 15 days after the last course of chemotherapy. After that, we'll do surgery to compare what happens at the biopsy and at surgery. And the idea is clearly to avoid surgery in these patients. So, as conclusion and as take-home message, I just say caution. Because this patient with breast conservation may be at higher risk of local relapse if you don't keep in mind the risk factors for local relapse. The residual size more than 2 centimeters. If a tumor is chemosensitive, you should have a very, very good response, more than 2 centimeters remaining disease. Cautious with patients with less than 40 at the onset of disease, but at least you can do neoadjuvant chemotherapy, get back the BRCA status, and do appropriate surgery. Cautious with the patient with nodal disease remaining after surgery, after chemotherapy, and cautious with multifocal disease. And if in case of positive margin, go for iterative surgery, never hesitate. Thank you for your attention.